Who has been your favorite artist to interview?
Favorite artist to interview? Uh, a few for different reasons. I'll give three for different reasons. One, Wiz, because it was such a big moment for me career-wise because it was for a documentary, so it was a different type of interview than I'd normally done. Two, because it was one of the first interviews that I did without any notes. Like I usually have an iPad or a paper or a phone or computer, but I just remember feeling like this connection has to be personal and I need to be tuned in the whole time. And it was just eye to eye, sitting down, like I was actually wearing the same shirt, my grandpa's shirt, but I was very personable. And so that was big for me. Two, Jeezy, because it was like I was telling you earlier, it was my first ever real intro to interviewing someone of that caliber. And it was through Hip Hop DX. And it was just like the opportunity of a lifetime. And because of what it did for my career. And then three, this dude named XV, who was my favorite rapper growing up. Like when I talk about Drake, Cuddy, Cole, Kendrick, my favorite rapper was XV. And he was in that same class of like the blog era. And I just really related to his story. And he went off the grid for like he was probably going to be a double XL freshman like the year after that or in that same Wiz class. But he went off the grid and just didn't drop music for like 10 years. And in LA, he let me be his first video interview
Mm.
in 10 years. And it was like, it was meeting my hero, so doing what I love rather than as a fan. So that was really cool for me. It probably has like 2,000 views on my YouTube channel. You know what I mean? But to me, it was like a really special moment.
What would you say is your favorite behind the scenes celebrity moment?
Uh, I'll give you two good ones. One is rapping for Takeoff from Migos because I told you I rap for Cameron,
Mm.
but this is my first day on the job at Power 106. And actually two of the moments I'll intertwine because they're both with two different Migos. So the first one, I'm in the interview, first day as an intern, wide-eyed, just like, wow, I can't believe I'm here. And Quavo and Cruz introduced me as like our new Canadian intern. He was like, oh, this is Jeremy. He's from Canada. And like that was my thing. I just was like Mr. Canada, like everywhere I went, like, oh, he's Canadian. And so Quavo was like, oh, Canada, like Murder Beats is from Canada. That's my homie. I was like, yeah, shout out to Murder Beats. He's like, matter of fact, pass Canada the blunt. And I'm looking around like, am I allowed to smoke at work? Like, I didn't even smoke at the time at all. Like maybe once a month, tops. So I hadn't eaten anything. It was like 12. They were like 2 hours late. So I didn't even have breakfast. They hand me a blunt or lunch. They hand me a blunt and his security guard looks at me and he goes, keep the whole thing. And I'm like, okay. So I smoked this whole blunt myself. My bosses are right next to me. I'm high as fuck, literally just zoned out. I remember walking out and grabbing my lunch from the fridge and like eating pasta and like Cruz and like Yessie Ortiz and all these big power people are like there. And I need to get out of here. So I go into the elevator and when I'm in the elevator, the door opens and it's all three Migos and all three of their bodyguards. And they literally all just come into the elevator with me. So it's just me and all of them. I'm literally just trying to escape this situation because I'm so high. I'm like looking over. I'm like, what do I even say? I'm like, pretty good interview, huh? they're like, yeah. I don't even think they responded, actually. I think nobody gave me a response. They shoved me out of the elevator. I wasn't even trying to get out on their floor, but they just shoved me out and they like go to their escalators or their Escalades. They're like big white Escalades and they're about to leave. And I remember seeing Takeoff by himself. And I was like, should I rap for him? Like, is this against my job? Like, am I not? I'm an intern. Like, I don't want to lose my job trying to like piss the Migos off. But like, all right. Like, I was high. I'm like, I literally like stumbled up to him. I'm like, take off. Can I rap for you? And he was like, sure. He's like, I'm walking to the car, but you can walk with me. So I rapped that same verse, that same Cameron verse to him because it was the same time period.
What he
And
said?
he stopped and he looked at me. He said, you look like that and you can spit like that? He said, get my man's number. I'm like, okay. So he dashed me up. He's like, we'll stay in touch or we'll stay in contact. Like, hit him up. So his man, I don't even remember his name. I don't know what his relation to him was. I don't think he was his manager, but like gives me a number. I'm like, okay. So I'm like, it's not gonna happen again. It happened with Cameron, but this time I'm making this happen. So he texts me, yo, good meeting you. I was like, good meeting you too. He's like, all right, I'm gonna send your number to Takeoff. I said, bet. I probably didn't say bet. I said, okay, sounds good. And then he was like, and then I get a text in the same thread with my own number back to me. And keep in mind, I'm still high as fuck right now. I'm looking at this. I had to confirm with multiple people. I'm like, hey, this is my number, right? Like, he sent me back my own number. And so I go, hey, man, I think you might have accidentally sent the number to me instead of Takeoff. And he goes, nah, I didn't.
What?
And I'm sitting there like, yes, you did, sir. But I didn't have the heart to say anything else. I'm like, you know what? That's a sign that I'm just going to leave it. So I just left that text thread and never talked to and then I see Takeoff again. So they come back for another interview next year when I'm working for them. Culture 2 is dropping. And I go up to Takeoff and I'm like, yo, Takeoff, like, I rapped for you last time. If you remember, and he literally like he was high as fuck this time. And he like looks around, he's like, you good, bro? I'm like, oh, okay. Well, clearly that didn't resonate with you.
Wow, man. At this point, if I get a celebrity's number, I'm just gonna throw it in the trash, right? I mean, holy cow! Wow,
Crazy.
I'd be so distraught after that, man.
Dude. I learned not to take anything personally. That was another lesson. You know, people are just in their own worlds.
What artists surprised you in person with how they acted, whether negatively or positively?
Blueface. I've met I interviewed
You look like a
Blueface.
cool Blueface, social media wise, anyway.
Yeah, I've interviewed him 3 or 4 times now, and he's just such a good dude. Like, not to say that I didn't expect him to be, but like I almost thought like it was gonna be like he was gonna be the character that he portrayed, if that makes sense. But like there was a clear separation. Like, he's very smart, he's very intelligent with how he's marketing himself. He's strategic, and he's really funny and just genuine. So I would say him.
Who's
Interesting.
Who's your top 5 of all time?
That was my next question.
Dead or alive?
Yeah.
I'll give you two answers, because one, I'll give you first the answer that, like, not to say is the proper answer, but like objectively speaking, who I think is the most talented and impact wise. Like, I have Jay at 1. I have Pocket. What's that?
This is in order, like Jay at 1?
This is in order. I have Jay at 1 because I don't think anyone else has been, unfortunately, no one else has been able to be alive for long enough to reach the potential that they had, whereas Jay actually transcended, and we got to see 444 from him. Like, we got to see his story arc play out growth-wise, and we got to see him as a family man, and we got to see him as a business empire, and I don't think anyone has impacted the world the way that Jay-Z has through music, so I put him at 1. Then I put Pop.
So 50. Okay, so according to your statement, nobody has influenced the world, music, businessman. So 50 wouldn't fall into that category, or a Nas.
I I think he. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's like you're talking about like not just the journey, but also like his relevancy.
Yeah, yeah, and through music too. Like, like think about 50. The thing about 50 is I think 50's an alien. I personally, I saw him at Rolling Loud. I'm like, this dude is so good at influencing people and infiltrating culture and staying relevant as a person and as a personality that I legitimately don't think he's part of this planet. My only caveat with 50 is he didn't do it all through music. So I'm not putting it like his music didn't do enough on that scale for long enough for me to put him in a top 10 list. Like
He went diamond.
he went diamond, and his first two albums are amazing. I think Get Rich or Die Trying is probably my top 5 albums ever. Like you can play that front to back. But in terms of his music career, it stops after album 2 or 3, right?
Yeah.
Like that's a 5-year run. Not to say like Biggie had 2 albums, so you could probably like, it's not out of control to argue that 50 could be
like
on a top 5.
in comparison to Jay-Z, if 50 drops an album, no one cares as much as a Jay-Z album.
Okay, I'm not putting 50 on a top 5, but in terms of what he said about having a run, a businessman, all these things, if not 50, I would definitely say Nas, considering that no album is, especially him dropping King Disease 1 and 2,
Yeah.
recently winning the Grammy, and then Illmatic, like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
You could argue for Nas. Is Nas on your top 5 list?
of course.
Where you have him?
We don't do orders, man. There's too many good people out here, bro. It's hard to,
Okay, we'll go no order.
You could debate all day, man. Like Nas could be number 1, arguably.
Yeah, he could be. Yeah.
I could do this all day because it's Biggie, Pac, Nas, Jay, and then I may be biased, but I'm putting Kendrick as number 5.
Yeah, I have Kendrick as number 5 right now too.
No love to the old joints, the KRS.
But so how do you want to do it? Because that's why it's like I have multiple top 5s. It's just too hard. Like if we don't,
too many talented rappers, bro.
It's tough, and
ahead.
it's tough, and that's what I was gonna say is like that. So there's top 5. There's a bunch, but what I say is I give top 5s based on what impacted me, because otherwise I'm just speaking for the sake of speaking. Like when people got mad at Vince Staples for saying like, I don't even remember what he said, but he's like 90s rappers I don't really care that much about them. Or like Lil Yachty being like, I've never listened to Biggie. It's just like, think about our parents. They didn't really listen to their grandparents' music that much unless it was forced upon them, unless it was played for them. It's like we have to consciously go back and do our research. And yes, I went back and listened to Illmatic and Black Star and Biggie and Pac, but that was way before my time. So like my memories aren't attached to those artists. My memories are attached to Kanye, like later Jay-Z, Drake, Kendrick, Cole. That's what I grew up listening to, and that's what I actually resonate with: heart, mind, body, spirit. You know what I mean? So it's like my top 5 and what actually impacted me is just going to be way different than what the answer should be, or my objective list of what I gave you with like, here's who I think impacted things more. So I think you have to almost have a personal top 5 and then an objective top 5.
Yeah, I agree, because it's like in terms of rappers that influenced me, it would probably be modern day, but I grew up on certain things, and then a lot of things I had to go and do the research. But for me, the research is what's so fascinating to me, and that plays a big part to me to know, the research of how they came about, so to me that's important. So it's like, I don't know, the 90s will always be prevalent to me regardless of what anybody say, because a lot of our favorite rappers like a J. Cole, like a Kendrick, came up on these guys. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They wouldn't if it wasn't for these old school rappers. So it's like, for some people to be out of your top 5 or top 10 lists is type crazy to me. Like you literally just mentioned Black Star. You know how many people our age don't know who that is? Like that's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's a list that I think is actually interesting to debate, is top 5 strictly based on rhyming and strictly based on like
Yeah, like you can
ability
do a
to rap.
lyrics top 5, a storytelling top 5, a bar for bar top 5, a flow top 5.
Yeah.
So who's lyrical top 5?
Well, I say Eminem. I don't put him in my top 5 just rapper list. Just if we're talking about like the same way I said about Jay-Z, I don't feel the same way about Eminem's career arc. But I think rhyming wise and rapping ability, I don't think there's anybody who has rapped as well as him on that level. You could argue, like he says, I think he says Redman is his favorite rapper. So, you know, maybe you put them together. Andre 3000, I think storytelling, technically, lyrically, like just presence on a song, I would put him there.
Creativity.
Yes. Yeah. And that's even another, like, honestly, Wayne, you might even put that in his. I don't necessarily put him as necessarily like the top lyricist, but if we're talking like creativity,
he's a lyricist.
And punches.
Yeah. Punches. Big L, actually, Big L is in my opinion one of the best rhymers, one of the best flows I've ever heard. Like, I was blown away when I went back and listened to Big L.
I was gonna say when it was my turn, I was gonna say Big L, but yeah.
Yeah. Who else you got?
Big L, KRS, Rakim.
Yeah.
Nas.
Is this a storytelling? Or lyrics? Okay.
Mos Def. Talib Kweli. What's that man's name?
3 Stacks.
Nah, yeah, 3 Stacks. I'm sorry. I throw M on there too. I feel like I'm forgetting so many people. Kendrick on there too. Is Lupe a reach?
No. You know what my theory on Lupe is, and I stick on this, is so we look at Biggie, right? 2 albums. I say I have a 2-album theory. If you cut Lupe's career off after 2 albums, if he would have unfortunately passed away or retired, he's the greatest rapper of all time. Period.
All time is a very bold statement.
That's kind of crazy. I'm not gonna lie.
Think about this, okay? Lupe has, after The Cool and Food and Liquor, 2 certified classics that most people would not disagree are classics. He has storytelling at a very high level, conceptual albums. He has hits. He still has hits. Maybe he doesn't have worldwide impact the same way that Pac does beyond the music or Biggie did beyond the music. But I think lyrically, he's a better rapper than Tupac and Biggie. Lyrically, not flow-wise, not songwriting-wise, lyrically, conceptually. So if you cut him off after those 2, I might give him, and Nas after 2, he had Illmatic, but the second album isn't considered on the same level in terms of critically acclaimed as The Cool is. Yeah.
Really?
It's still considered a classic, but I don't know that people are like, people give Illmatic that, but I don't know that they give both of those the same respect that Lupe gets on both those albums. I give Lupe greatest rapper alive or greatest rapper of all time if he retired after the second album.
That's
I mean,
you need to make a TikTok about that, man.
And I'm not gonna lie, because it also depends on who you're talking to, the people that actually knows his shit. Because it's not that many people like me and you that actually knows that, unless they're into like. Are you consider? Is he underground?
Yeah, he was. I mean, Superstar put him on, and Kick Push put him on like mainstream level, but he was still semi-underground.
Who's your top 5 right now?
Like, are you talking like hottest rappers right now, or top 5 alive right now?
Hottest right now.
hottest right now, I would go. I would probably go Lil Baby 1. I think his last 3-year run is like he's the only person who separated himself from the pack in terms of like leading the next generation, and I think he actually wants it now. At first, I was like, nobody wants it. He doesn't want to do interviews. He doesn't want to be like Drake in that sense, but I think he wants to be a star now. So I'll put Baby 1. I'll go. I think Drake is still number 2. Just in terms of like dominance, run, still relevance. Anytime he hops on a feature, it's still massive. I hate Way Too Sexy. It's my least favorite song that Drake has ever made, but it's still dominant. It's like, okay. I want to say I would. Okay, I'll put him at 5. Maybe I put Cole at Tyler. I'll put Tyler at 3.
What?
Tyler?
Because I think his album will probably win a lot of Album of the Year awards. He got
for the off season.
Yeah, there's a chance, bro. Honestly, people really like Tyler, bro.
I mean, he has a certain demographic and fan base. We know that.
No, but here's the thing: he influenced West Side Gun and Griselda, or like not he didn't influence them. They influenced Tyler, but he's willing to go in that pocket too. He had a YoungBoy feature, he had a 4-2 Doug feature. He can rap with both of them, and he can go into Freddie Gibbs lane, and he can go into West Side Gun and Conway and Benny's lane. He can go on an Alchemist beat. He can make his own beat. He could sing on a Pharrell beat and it would sound great. Like his versatility and growth arc, I think, are impressive enough for me to give him in the top 5 now.
Tyler's too weird for me, but anytime he drops an album, people care about it a lot, and he has the accolades to back it up. So
yeah. And then I go Cole, and because just even if we're looking like his feature run into like his hunger to like still be like the top guy and like want to rap at that caliber. And he dropped a great album, or good album. I don't know that it was great, but it was good.
Off season?
Yeah.
That's not a classic album?
No.
What?
We need 5 years on that.
Huh?
Have you gone back to it a bunch?
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought everybody agreed. I thought first week is like it was solidified.
Yeah. That's the thing. First week it was, and I thought the same thing first week. And I'm not gonna lie, I think I was wrong. And I love Cole, and I'm a big Cole fan. And I was talking shit. I was like, yo, this is the best that Cole's rapped in a long time. Like, this is like maybe his best album since Forest Hills Drive. And maybe it is, but there's not any songs. And I say that without insulting the project, because it's a great project for what it is. But Pride is the Devil, to me, is the only song on that album. Everything else is bars, and it's great bars. But is it a great album? Am I literally wanting to like put on any of the songs and listen and like really dig deep into them again? No. And that to me is where I actually lost the album as like what you're saying, a classic. That's personal though. Maybe I'm off on that objectively.
But you say that there's bars, and then you said there's nothing that you would want to go back and dig into.
There's bars, but I wasn't compelled. Like, okay, and this is no, you go
on the album.
What'd you say?
What's that?
I don't think there was any skips. Like
I don't think there's a skip either. But I don't think that there's anything super compelling. Okay, this is what I mean.
Okay,
when I listen to 2014 Forest Hills Drive, is it lyrically as potent as the off season? Probably not. But do I go back and take different things from the songs when I listen to it based on the journey?
You're trying to say like, well, Forest Hills Drive is like more of like you can close your eyes and kind of go on that journey. where like
Yeah.
with the off season is kind of okay, like you gotta keep your eyes open type of thing. Like
Yeah, it's like it's cool, you know what I mean? It's like and like yes, there's some motivational bars. I'm sure there's shit that I'll catch like on the Cameron song and whatever. Like there's stuff that I'll catch the second time around. And so like I respect it lyrically. I think it's top tier. Like I said, I think he's rapping at his highest caliber, but like there's not that many songs that I'm like, "Oh, this was a great song." Like here, let me look through this before I sound crazy. Because people are gonna get on my ass about this.
On Hillside was fine.
Oh, My Life too. My Life was a great song as well. 100 Mil is a great song.
Yes.
So we have 3 songs. And then we have interludes and great bars. 95 South, great bars. Amory, great bars. Applying Pressure, bars. Punching the Clock, bars. Let Go My Hand, bars. Interlude, bars. The Climb Back, bars. Close, bars. Hunger on Hillside, bars. I don't even remember a hook on any of those.
What? Because a majority of the hooks that were on there were Boss.
I love Boss. I love Boss, but they felt to me like outros. They just felt like an outro.
And that's what I want to start doing is like sit down with music connoisseurs and do like album reviews from like track listing because like to get different. I'm blown away right now. That's crazy.
And people hate this take. I think Baby Keem's album was better than anyone else's album this entire year.
I didn't tell you that, Glass.
You did.
Listen, that Baby Keem album is way better than Donda, way better than CLB. And we did
Thank you.
Oh my God. And he's nothing like Kendrick. Like, and you know, they say that on Baby Keem. You know what I'm saying? Like, listen. Yeah.
It was more interesting than these. That's all I'm saying. It was more interesting than these albums. There's different flows. There's hooks. There's catchy things. There's funny things. There's some deep things. There's beat switches. There's like I'm rocking. I know him. I feel like I know things about him. Like learned things. Like it doesn't go too deep into his story, but like there's enough. And then there's also just funny shit. Like I was just on the journey. I'm just excited. Like it was the first album that I was been excited about in years. Like Donda, I love. I like CLB. I really enjoyed Tyler's album. I liked Cole's album a lot. But like Baby Keem's album, I was like, this is just like, where am I going here? Like it's just like a journey of like flows and
so I think that's the main thing for you to consider a classic. You have to be picking on that journey. You want to follow their story and be walk through it.
Yes, and that's why it's such a personal thing because there's people who don't need that and they don't need to relate to the rapper at all or their story, which is why I'm very biased too because that's why I never like where I came from. Like I might not be able to relate to a street rapper. Like I might not be able to relate to a Moneybagg Yo very much. But is he great? Did he produce an amazing album? Yes. Like, am I gonna listen to it? Probably not, because I can't relate on that level. But so it's very personal. Like it's very like a biased opinion, I'll say.
Okay, so you got 3 so far. You got Baby, you got Drake, and you got Tyler. Who's your other 2?
He said J. Cole.
Cole 4. And then this sounds crazy because he literally hasn't dropped in 4 years, but I'm putting Kendrick at 5 only because don't shake your head yet. Listen, this is what I'm saying. Kendrick is so relevant that his name trends on Twitter anytime someone mentions the possibility of an album. Anytime someone says there's a new Kendrick verse dropping this week, 100,000 tweets. Anytime he dropped 2 features on on Baby Keem's album. Yes, Baby Keem is his cousin, but that song was the big, like probably top 10 rap songs of the year in terms of impact and numbers. Like he said shit that impacted things.
His post on Instagram.
Dude, It was like 1 million likes in 3 hours.
Hot. Still top 5 hottest. And that performance, seeing him live, I'm like, okay, he can shut this shit down with no new songs. I was like, all I wanted was a new song. And then I left the performance being like, I don't need a new song yet. This guy's catalog is flawless. So I'm giving Kendrick number 5. I don't care if he hasn't dropped.
I don't think many people disagree with you on that.
But the thing is, listen, Glass, I love Kendrick to death. But the thing is, time is also of the essence. Like, I feel like he's forever, but it's like, I understand, but it's like, you got to think about us. I guess I'm selfish. Like, 4 years, come on, like, don't pull a Playboy Cardi where it's been like 3 years and he drops Whole Lot of Red and that shit is trash.
But everybody liked.
Huh?
I didn't like Whole Lot of Red. I didn't like Whole Lot of Red. I'm not listening to it. But dude, the amount of people who tell me that that's album of the year and that it shifted the entire culture of music, and I've had people I respect are like, yo, that album literally changed music.
Fucking garbage.
I think it's a lot harder when you wait so long, man. Now we're expecting a masterpiece. And if you fall anything short of that, fans are going to give you a hard time, man. Just like with CLB and Donda, they were so highly ridiculed because we waited so long for them.
Exactly. And I don't doubt he's gonna drop a masterpiece, but it's like, come on, man, like 4 years, and we know he's not into social media and none of that shit, but it's like,
you don't even know if Kendrick alive, God forbid, like for real. You don't interact with the fans, like you don't do, like don't throw up a poll, no nothing, like don't take a selfie, no nothing, no appearances, interviews.
I respect it though, because when he said I'm a prophet, I answered a Metatron and Gabriel. He said I do not care, and I respect it. He's like, fans are asking. Do you know what it would take? The amount of self-confidence, and maybe it's insecurity and doubt in the artistry, I don't know, but the amount of discipline, I'll say, to not feed into social media, to not feed into people asking you for things all the time, to not feed into fans that you might feel indebted to because they got you to a certain degree, because you know that when it's your time and you're supposed to drop to the world and you're not, until you're ready, you're not going to. Like, that to me is so highly respectable. Maybe it is that. Maybe it's selfish. Maybe it's like, oh, come on, give us something. But like, for that many people to feel that way and you still hold strong in your belief of like, I'm gonna wait till it's time. That to me is GOAT.
Yeah,
that to me is like,
it can't be that easy.
And I don't think he'll disappoint. He hasn't disappointed.
So the biggest debate that I have with music connoisseurs is, which it's ridiculous. I say that Drake can be considered a GOAT, but to an extent, because first of all, he does not write, and then another, he does not have a classic album. I'm sorry.
He has 2. He has 3 classic albums, but yes.
Take Care is a classic album?
Take Care is a classic. Nothing Was the Same as a classic. So Far Gone, I'm giving as a classic, even though it was a mixtape.
What was the second one you said?
Nothing Was the Same.
Nothing Was the Same?
If we're giving Kanye Graduation as a classic with drunken hot girls on it, we're not using the no skips rule. Take Care and Nothing Was the Same are both classics. And here's the thing. Classic had to switch its definition. What Drake said on Scorpion, he's like, they say they want a classic, that's just 10 of these. He knows that he could do an album that's all bars all the time on top of primo beats. And you might say like, oh, this is a classic album. But the impact that Take Care had on entire generations and get
you know, high school, bro. Yeah. Like, you gotta remember, he was in high school. Take Care really transcended, bro. For real. Yeah. I'm not sure if it had the same kind of playback value though.
You can't still go back, you don't think?
Who listened to Take Care in 2021?
I listen to Marvin's Room and cry about it all the time.
Oh, God.
I do got Marvin's Room, not gonna lie. I got Marvin's Room, but man, I don't know, man.
Over My Dead Body, Shaw for me. The Ride, you don't think those still slap? Crew Love? I've
I'm,
seen crowds go to
Crew
Crew
Love
Love
is
in
cool.
2021.
I love Crew Love. I'm not gonna lie, but
And
I'm
yeah, The
biased.
Weeknd, impacted it a lot,
That's
but still.
what I'm saying. The Weeknd gave half his album to Drake, so it's like I can't do that. Like I'm old school with it. If you didn't write your shit, if you getting help or whatever,
But then
So
how are we consider? Oh, you go.
because
go ahead.
about this writing stuff, I think that maybe Drake doesn't write all of his lyrics, but I definitely think he writes at least some of them. And when it comes to this writing thing, on every album we see credited writers. We know plenty of artists who have wrote other hits for other artists. So are we picking and choosing, or what are we
Yeah,
doing?
keep it consistent. That's all I ask for is keep it consistent. If Drake said it on CLB. He said, I'm taking the rap for this Casper the Ghost shit, and you're finding all the loopholes. Like, if we're keeping the energy for Drake, keep it for Kanye, keep it for Snoop, keep it for Dre, keep it for all the people who don't write their shit. It's fine. I personally don't have a problem with it. I did at the time. I've reflected on it. I've been in enough studio sessions. I've been around enough rappers to know that most of the people you think are writing all their shit are not writing all their shit. And so, like, are we not? And like, where's the weird line? Okay, so people can give you a hook, people can give you songs that you sing, but as soon as they give you 4 bars on a verse, your status is gone. I agree. I will agree. Like, there's a lyricism conversation, and that's what we were talking about before. Where like, okay, the top 5 lyricists of all time, I'd never put Drake in that. But it's clear that has a song. He's literally won songwriting awards. He's a songwriter. He's an artist. Kanye is the same way. They create. And like, are we gonna say he could be the greatest artist of all time? Do I put him there? No, but could he be in that conversation? Yes. Is he going to be the greatest rapper or lyricist of all time? No, but I think that's fine. I think he's okay with that at this point.
Cause bro, Paul, you know that what's in it. You tell me all the time. Party Next Door right hits. You said like what's the name? Neo, and like you mentioned to me like a few other like notable ghostwriters who dead got like bangers, bro. Bangers. And I think that maybe they don't get as much backlash as Drake because they're not as big as Drake.
But the thing is, we been knew Kanye wasn't writing his stuff. Like these artists we're talking about, we been knew they wasn't writing their stuff.
So why was it such a big deal when if this is not something new, then why was it such a big deal when Drake did it?
I really thought the man was writing everything, and I respected him.
You know why it was Drake, and this is why I was upset about it as a fan, because I was like legitimately hurt. Like, that's my Canadian king. You know what I mean? That's my guy. And why I was hurt was he was claiming top spot in the rap game. That's what it was. And that's what this conversation is too, is he was saying shit like on records, like, I'm the top of the game. I'm the guy. I'm number one. Like, he was like legitimately taunting people at the time. Like, like they say, if you wasn't at the top, you would be dissing you, dog. Like, he was saying shit like, I got bullets that fire backwards. I probably wouldn't hit a single rapper. Like, all this stuff. He was talking shit to the point where you're like, okay, he is the guy, and he thinks he's the guy. It would be like if Wayne said, I'm the greatest rapper alive, and then 2 months later, you're like, wait, but Wayne isn't writing his bars. How can you be the greatest rapper alive? I think that's the distinction. Whereas Kanye always was like, yeah, at the beginning, he was saying I'm the greatest rapper, but he was always open about like having people in the studio and like creating. And Dr. Dre always never really claimed being a rapper. He was a producer. So I think it was just that little distinction that fucked him up.
Facts.
If you could listen to 5 albums for the rest of your life, you can only pick 5. What would they be?
My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. Continuum by John Mayer.
Okay.
Man on the Moon by Kid Cudi. Damn, Kendrick.
Out of all Kendrick's albums, yeah.
To me, it has the longest lasting. Like, when we were talking about bars, and going back to things, that I've gone back to every single time and taken away something new. And it's both of those things. It's his story and it's actual bars. And then I would probably go, I might go So Far Gone, because that was just such a moment in my life. I'll go back to that.
I'm not gonna lie. So Far Gone is fine. I'm not gonna lie.
What do you guys have on that one?
I don't even know. I'm a big Chance fan, so I gotta throw Coloring Book in there.
Yeah.
I'm not really. I'm more of a singles guy, so I don't really know. I don't really know. He's the music guy.
Yeah. What do you got?
All right, I'm doing To Pimp a Butterfly. I'm doing Good Kid, Mad City. I'm doing.
Oh wow.
Two.
Yeah, when I tell you I love Kendrick, man. So that's the Illmatic.
Oh,
I'm
of course.
doing.
What was the fourth one?
No, it's three. It's
Okay.
To Pimp a Butterfly.
Good Kid, Mad City.
Good Kid, Mad City. I'm doing Illmatic. Damn, I need two more.
You gotta throw a Biggie in there, I would think. Oof! Wow! I thought Biggie was gonna be automatic. You got two Kendricks and zero Bigs. Yo, you from New York? Oh.
I don't bump Ready to Die like that. Because it's like I don't. Oh wait. Forest Hills Drive.
Nice.
Then what's that? Another album that I really because I love R&B too. So it's like.
Kels?
Relax. Don't get me canceled.
You want to cancel yourself, yeah.
No, I think I'll stick with that for. Shit, I'm thinking. What's that? I'm thinking The Blueprint.
That was my honorable. That was what I was gonna put at number 5, actually.
All right, so I got an interesting question. Have the women poured in expeditiously since your increased fame?
Have the women poured in? You know what? I don't know what you're talking about. No.
Okay.
No. I will say though, there's more people, not just women, more people in general that like want things from you, and I have by no means fame or success on a level that I think is like that, but you definitely see people start to treat you a little differently or like want to be a part of it. You know what I mean? Like this is kind of a joke, but like I was talking to my friend and I was like, why are these like, I have like 4 or 5 girls on Instagram who have me on their close friend story who I've never even gone out with. Like we maybe like texted or like made plans and never went out. And I'm still on their close friend story. And I texted my friend, I'm like, why am I still on this girl's close friend story? And she's like, she wants you to think that you're closer than you are. And I'm like, oh, interesting. I don't know if that's the case, but if that is, that would make sense where it's like, oh, we're still cool. We're close. Like,
oh, okay. You want to keep you arm's length. Okay.
Yeah. So I don't know. If anything, maybe that, but
East Coast or West Coast rap? Wait, no.
East West Coast.
Down South, West Coast, East Coast. Where do they rank from 1 to 3?
See, this I feel like I'm not the best person to answer this because I didn't really see the impact of like I didn't feel down south culture. I didn't feel the East Coast or West Coast. I was kind of like from the outside. So it's hard to say, but I guess to clarify, are you talking right now or overall ever impact?
All time?
Yeah.
All time. All time, I probably go, ooh, that's tough, actually. That's really tough. I'm pleading the 5th. I'm pleading the 5th. I don't know. Because I was like about to say East Coast, and I'm like, but then you really can't deny the West, and you can't deny the South, like what they did and their run right now. So I don't know. Who do you have?
Oh, the East Coast, of course, number one. Um, I'll put the
Solid
South
rep.
and West Coast at number three. Tough.
Damn, no love.
Yeah.
It's tough though. It is. They all have their
Two and
own.
three is really a toss up, but not number one. But 2 and 3 are really close.
Obviously.
I mean, you kind of got to go East Coast overall, I would say.
Of course.
Yeah.
We just want to hear people say it. So what's your daily routine? Like, what would you say? Like, how would you break down how you go about your day, like a regular work day for you?
I mean, it varies, but I would say like if I had to like give it some sort of structure routine, I used to wake up way earlier than I just started waking up earlier again, but like let's say I wake up at like 7. I'll meditate in the morning. I'll try to like literally I'm like
Spiritual,
sitting
bro?
there. Very.
Oh boy.
Of
Damn it, man. You got crystals too?
course. What do you think? This got my crystals right here, bro.
You got candles? Oh my
I got
god.
my
dude.
incense right here. I light that shit every morning. Light my candle, my Palo Santos, and
Do you
my
own a
Palo
beanie?
Santo candle. What's that?
Do you own a beanie?
Is there a beanie that I don't own? Is there a color that I don't have in a beanie? And then so yeah, and like I whatever it is, prayer, visualization, meditation, just sitting with my thoughts. I like to have 10 to 15 minutes, 20 minutes of just that. And then I'll maybe work out in the morning. And then I'll try to stay off my phone until I like am centered. So it doesn't always happen, but like I read something the other day where it's like you should the first thing you see and the last thing you see usually is your phone.
Yeah.
So like what I just started doing, this is like 3 days ago, is like I just wrote a little note to myself that just says you are always on time. And like that's the first thing I look at in the morning. The last thing I look at before bed is like the external world can't rush me. It's like whatever time I woke up as, like you are on time perfectly. Boom. And then in terms of like my actual work, I choose a lot of the news stories for the DX YouTube channel. So I'll like send those out for voiceovers and headline them and help with the images and send them out for edits. Then I'll usually go about like content strategy. So if we did an interview, I'll like go through and be like, all right, these are some clips that we can use. This is how we can market it. This is how we could be for social, for TikTok. If we have an upcoming interview, it's research. It's like going through all these people's careers and their interviews and what can we ask them.
Nardwar?
Nardwar shit, yeah.
Oh,
what I say is like that guy's a goat. Shout out to Nardwar.
I'm interviewing so bad, man.
He would be legendary. I want a Nardwar.
Yo, that would be legendary. I don't think I have the facilities for that, but it would be legendary. I don't know. I saw a clip today with like him interviewing Juice WRLD, and Juice WRLD said, "Yo, I forgot I even did this." Like,
yeah. It's impressive, and I think what I say is I want to be like. I don't ever want to Nardwar people. I want you to know where I found it, but I want you to be surprised that I put in the effort to find it. Like, I don't like Nardwar will talk to people's families and like call people's schools and stuff. Like, he'll legit get research that like isn't from the source. Like, he'll go beyond, and like that is impressive in itself. I want the artist to feel comfortable enough where like I can still like you're still like, okay, I did say that somewhere. Like it was in an old interview or on a song,
like
but
it's
I said
findable.
it, and
it's findable.
Yes, yeah, and so that they're still comfortable telling me the story. I think with the Nardwar thing, you get the shock factor of like, whoa, how did you know that? But I like getting this. I almost like using some of the things that he would ask, and then being like, okay, what's the actual story behind this? Like, let's flesh it out a bit more. So, but I would love to talk to him.
Like very much Fed Boy vibes.
Yeah.
People say that, yo, like, are you the feds? Because how would you know that? Boy, ASAP was like, yo, my friends don't know this. Like, like how do you know this, bro?
Yeah, it's weird. The only time I tried doing it was with Doughboy. It was at Rolling Loud 2019. It was me
I gotta
and
go
a
to
couple other
Rolling Loud,
people
man.
in there.
Yo, I gotta go to
It was
Rolling Loud.
come to Cali.
Now,
They just had it in New York, right?
yeah.
Yeah, I was actually in New York. That was my first time in New York.
Damn, you didn't hit nobody else.
Nah,
Nobody hit me up.
yeah, we were just, we weren't as close as we are this very second. But bro, Mike went to Rolling Loud in New York too, and Kid Films. With two photographers we know went to Rolling Loud. So, bro, it looks so lit. I would be backstage there. Oh my goodness, bro! I gotta find my way there next year, bro. I'm gonna ask around. See if I can. We
You'll
gotta go to
find it.
Complex Con too.
Yeah.
Cause that's where Jeff Hamilton was at, and he was signing the jackets, bro. You know who
Complex
Jeff
Con is a
Hamilton is?
magical place. No.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah, he's the guy who makes like all those cool championship jackets every time you win a championship, like in the NBA.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we interviewed him too,
Fire.
and Complex Con was, yo, it looked mad fun, man.
Yeah, come down to Long Beach next year.
I've seen you on Instagram and TikTok, but I think on YouTube, because when he told me about you, I was very excited, and I was like, "Is that the guy that's like, oh, I'll settle for a like or whatever?"
Which one?
At the end of your videos, you'll be like,
I'll settle for a like.
yeah.
I don't know. I feel like maybe in some of the before they're famous ones. Is that what you're talking about?
Oh, you might be talking about Michael McCrudden, the other guy.
He says that.
I think so. I know what you're talking about.
I always get y'all confused though. I don't know why.
Nah,
Well, I was on that show for like a year and a half.
yeah, and Mike also looks like your older brother a little bit, like.
No,
yeah,
like
yeah,
seriously.
people used to say that too.
Seriously.
No, people legit said that. That's why I think it made sense because he was like, oh, it's not that jarring. Like you can make jokes about being a younger me. Like it's easy for the audience to digest.
Yeah, real.
If you could have dinner with 5 people dead or alive, who would it be?
Dead or alive, damn. Nikola Tesla, Steve Jobs, Albert Einstein, Kanye West, and what was that for? Kendrick Lamar.
Interesting. I don't think you would get much out of Kendrick, but it'd be cool to have him there.
But maybe he's like when he's like in that setting, he'll like open up.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I don't need the dinner with Hove. I'll take it, but
I'll take the 500 grand.
I'm taking the money.
Yeah, like his interviews are not the best. Like, oh my goodness, I'm sorry. He's a GOAT and everything, but he says the same shit over and over. Like, how much confidence should I have?
I mean, do they ask the same question or similar questions?
maybe that's it. Maybe the interview.
After a while, bro, like I'm sure you're starting to notice too with these interviews. Like after a while, like the questions can become repetitive, you know. So and then when there's someone like that who's been interviewed time and time again for 20 plus years, how much more you want to know about the guy, you know?
So
my
go ahead.
I was just gonna say my caveat on if I'm interviewing somebody who's been interviewed a lot, my one rule is always have a but. Like if you say something that they've said before and they've probably been asked it, show that you've read or heard what they said and ask for additional context. So it's like, Jay, you said for example, like, Jay, I know that, on your first album, you were in the studio with Just Blaze and Kanye all the time. But was there ever a time when, Kanye took the studio session over and said, I need that beat for myself? Whatever it is, like having like a but of like, or like, you mentioned this in an interview and you said that, when you and Nas were beefing, you thought about, dropping another disc, but did you ever record it? like you have a question where it's like, okay, I know I've talked about this a million times, but you're asking me for a new piece of information. And that's, I think, where those little gems are of like
Yeah.
context that people don't have to the story that then in the bigger picture you can add into the history of it, you know?
You, Matt Barnes and Steven Jackson, and that guy who eats hot wings and interviews people, y'all are the best.
Sean Evans, yeah.
Yeah, I want to interview him too. Yeah, y'all are the best at like interesting questions. Sean Evans, I think, might have the best question. Every celebrity comes on and is
Yeah.
like, wow, that's a really good question. I've never been asked that before.
Yeah, I put him up there too. He's one of the people who I still consider like an inspiration in that sense. And I appreciate you even mentioning me in that. Honored to be mentioned in that category.
Sure, bro.
You know a lot of music fun facts, right?
I would think so, yeah.
What did Jay-Z start off as?
What was his first name?
No,
Like his job?
Or like
in
drug
music.
dealer?
No, in music. What did he start off as?
Ooh. Before record label owner? I don't know. What was his first?
He was a hype man.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
That's fire.
I forgot what's the guy's name, a Brooklyn rapper, but he started off as a hype man first.
Can you imagine being the guy who Jay-Z was your hype man?
Who gave Biggie his first show?
I don't know that.
Fat Joe.
Like he opened for Fat Joe?
Like his first ever show, like Fat Joe gave him.
Crazy.
Yeah, so.
That's great. Wasn't Kendrick a hype man too first, or J-Rock's hype man maybe?
I gotta Google that.
I think for who?
For like J-Rock or Q. It was like in TD. It was just like he was just like before he like dropped his own shit.
I think it was J-Rock. I think.
Yeah, Fat Joe's a legend too. Fat Joe should get some more respect.
Yo, I didn't know Fat Joe had this kind of impact on hip hop until like he's doing like his own content creation. I had no freaking idea, bro.
No, I didn't either.
Outside of that, I'll just be like, well, just lean back and then what? But apparently, like he's pretty like influential, and his like behind the scenes stories are freaking great. So,
no, he's a legend.
Well, Jeremy, that is all I have for you today. Do you have anything to add, Prince?
Oh, no, I really enjoyed this interview. It was really an honor speaking to you. Learned a lot, have a lot of respect for you. And hopefully we in the future we plan to link and work and do some stuff, you know. I hope for that in the near future.
World tour seems mad fun, man. What?
Yeah, if we set that up, we gotta make something happen because you came up with the idea for the song per country, so it's on record. There's no going back on that one.
Yeah, imagine you rapping on a merengue beat, man. Yo.
But no, I appreciate you guys. Thank you for the time. Thank you for the energy and the questions. And if there's ever anything I could do to help out your journey, I'm always around, and feel free to hit me up.
For sure.